So in the first video, we talked about calories in general, what your body needs to sustain itself. And there are many different factors, as I mentioned before, that go into this number that you need to guess to figure out your caloric equation. In terms of what manipulates those numbers or what affects those numbers, I want to talk about one specifically is physical activity, because this is where people get tripped up whenever they start their weight loss journey. Most people, because of the way the fitness industry is organized, think that they have to start with physical activity, with exercise, and it's a great place to start. But if you don't have the right understanding and mindset of what's actually happening, you're gonna have a false sense of what you should be doing and what you should be focusing on, and the results that you're getting aren't gonna paint a clear picture for you. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So, physical activity is one of the things that affects your caloric burn. You are more active, you burn more calories. You exercise, you burn more calories. You're fidgety, you're very animated, you burn more calories. Some of us have known that person who just can't sit still, and they're very, for lack of a better word, wired. They're always on. And these people tend to be, from my experience, again, it's not set in stone across the board, but I've known people like that are just always moving around, needing to, or can't sit still, needing to be moving all the time, and they tend to be on the leaner side, relatively speaking. But so those things affect how many calories you need, and I have to express that first and foremost because when you first start exercising, the type of, or the amount of calories that your body needs to sustain itself are no longer manageable. You're eating X amount of calories, you start exercising, and you start to burn off those calories, okay, those extra calories. So your body goes from needing this many calories to sustain its weight, but then your physical activity goes up, and then in order to sustain this weight, you need more calories. But you don't do that. You just stay right here, and then your weight goes down. So you start exercising and you start feeling better, and that's the 1-2 punch with physical activity and exercise. Not only does your physical activity go up, so your weight tends to go down a little bit, and it goes down, but it's rarely ever a huge drop unless you're doing like marathon training or something. But a significant drop, and you notice a difference, and you just feel better. So the 1-2 punch of losing some weight, feeling better, makes you feel like, okay, this is helping me get to my goal. The number's going down, I'm feeling fantastic, so I just need to do more of this. The problem that comes with that is that there's only so much exercise you can do before you run out of time, run out of physical energy, and run out of recovery time. So you can't just run yourself into the ground and expect to burn off extra calories constantly all the time without needing rest, without needing recovery. And this concept is important because a lot of people will feel like the minute that they stop exercising, they're gonna backslide and start getting fat. I feel fat. I didn't exercise today, I feel fat. That subjective feeling, and there's some truth to it. Like if you're no longer as physically active as you were, your body's gonna come back up because you're no longer burning off those extra calories because you haven't changed what you've eaten. You haven't changed the amount of calories you take in. So you really have to understand that physical activity is great. You should always be active. You should always be, doing things, being a physically active person, but not just for the caloric burn, for many things, for mental health, for physical health, for, to let the body, so the body doesn't get stagnant, things like that. You need that, but you should not use that as the only tool for weight loss. Because again, you're gonna run out of time, you're gonna run out of energy, and it's gonna take a toll on your body depending on what you're doing. If you're walking every day, that's great, but think about how much walking you have to do to burn, the calories that you want to get to the goal that you're trying to get to. I think walking is a fantastic form of exercise. It's low impact, it's very meditative, there's just so many great benefits to it. But again, in order to burn off the calories that you want to get to your goals, you're gonna have to walk for a long time. Now you can increase the intensity by running, running faster, running longer, things like that. But there's only so much running you can do before, again, you run out of time, you run out of energy, and your body's gonna take a beating. Most people, you know, there's very few people in this world who are natural runners. I spent about 2 years studying running before I actually started competing in running, meaning, you know, signing up for races and stuff. Like my first competitive race was a half marathon. That's because I had spent 2 years reading books on technique, looking at shoes, you know, going out on runs and feeling miserable and achy and having to learn from that and adapt to it and recover. So again, you can increase the intensity and get more physical activity and get more, you know, caloric burn, but that's not sustainable, especially for the average person. If you're watching this, you probably have a bunch of things to do. You're probably watching this video and things like, this video's too long already. I've got to go, you know, change the laundry over. I got to feed my kids. I got to go grocery shopping. I got to take a shower for work tomorrow, things like that. You know, there's only so much time you have. So you cannot rely on physical activity to burn all the calories that you want to get to your goals, okay? It's gonna come down to what you eat as well as what you burn off. So there's gonna be a little bit of a back and forth on that. It's different for everybody. We all know those people who can't gain weight to save their life, and there's those people who can't lose weight, you know, even though in some cases they need it to save their life. There's ways to do all this, but for some people it's definitely gonna be harder. What it's gonna take for you is gonna be unique to you, your physiology, your genetics, your foundation in physical activity, you know, like what you did as a kid, sports, weightlifting, things like that. So everybody starts off at a different place. But the take-home message for this bit of video that I'm sharing right now is that you can't, it goes back to the old saying, you can't outwork a bad diet. You can't outrun a bad diet. You can't outlift a bad diet. There's people who are in the gym. I've worked in the gym for years. I've been in the gym since I was 14, 20 plus years of being in the gym. People in there all the time, lifting weights on the treadmill, this and that. And I mean, yeah, they're definitely in better shape, relatively speaking, to the next person, but they're not as in good a shape as they probably could be. There's still people there that they're lifting weights every day, but you know, they still got a belly on them, or you know, whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're being physically active. But if your goal is weight loss, specifically fat loss, you have to start looking at calories different in terms of burning calories. You cannot work a bad diet. Most physical activity should be for specific benefits. You know, cardiovascular work can be looked at, you know, for like heart health, strength training, for, you know, body composition, things like that. We'll get into all that. But again, don't look at physical activity as the only thing that is going to get you to your goals. Your weight loss goals are dependent on many different things. It's going to take a little bit of time, and you can't outdo it. And you know, and even now, currently in this pandemic situation that we're in, where some people can't get to the gym, some people don't want to get to the gym. What's going to happen if you rely solely on exercise and physical activity, or exercise, strength training, and being in the gym? Then when that shuts down, what is everybody are you just gonna backslide? And I've seen that happen to people. People don't know what to do with themselves whenever they can't get into the gym, and all they do, I hate to say, but like, they eat. You know, people get bored. I was guilty of it too. You know, it's we as a society have not learned how to deal with having idle hands. You know, that's why we all kind of have to keep busy. So that's the take-home message with this. You know, try not to look at exercise as, you know, the only key to your weight loss goals. It has to be about balance. It has to be about calories in, calories out, the quality of calories, all these little details that we'll get into. But you don't look at exercise as a form of physical activity that has different benefits that are a part of the overall caloric burn that you know, sustain, you know, on average throughout the week and over the course of your life. You know, and as things change, it's going to be a little bit different. But again, I could go into so many different directions with that conversation. Hope this helps. If you need any clarity, please let me know, and we'll continue the conversation.